Hello. Welcome everyone. 2019, when we reflect at the end, towards the end of each year, we go, "Whoa, God, what have we done this year?" And there's always been a big list. And this year again, there's been a big list. But we've sort of thought, hey, it's last year we had a lot to do with getting set up with from the merger from IQ2 and Bradley Nuttall. And then this year it's sort of been putting in a lot of other things for the long term. So, company update. We've got some new people on staff, and some of you have already met them. We've got Paul Choi, who recently joined us from one of the major banks. All right, very interesting chap, Paul. He's got his letters ATCL in the clarinet. He's also second dan black belt Taekwondo. All right. Also has done some competitions in dancing. Plus he's very good at what we want him to do. All right. So he's there helping out particularly with Todd, Scott and Jacob, looking after clients there. And then the youngest person on the team now is Caden, who's just recently joined us. We're his first sort of full-time employer. He just finished his BSc at Canterbury University. So some of you already met Caden. He is very good at taking financial advice. He makes his own lunch, all right, which is something yours truly doesn't do. But I've often said to my kids, I said, save $2,000 a year and make your own lunch. All right. Caden is out there today. Please feel free to introduce yourself. Paul is currently on honeymoon. So, exciting times. All right, and then Bridget Arnold's recently joined our team. She's domiciled up near Piha Way, and she's helping us look after a number of our clients that we've got up in the Hamilton, Auckland area, as well as she works with private clients, iwi and Māori entities. And then just in terms of expanding our management team, we've now got our own in-house accountant, and Christine's here today. So she makes sure that we are always up to date with GST and PAYE and getting our, keeping our financial house in order, similar to what we're always endeavouring, of course, to help you with. Right? We've got two new partners in Cambridge Partners. Pip knows everything about the business. She's started just over 12 years ago and has just about undertaken every role in the firm. Pip works a lot of her time as Pip and I work together, helping each other with clients. And then James Howard, who many of you have met because James has been with us for about 2 years now. Accounting background, he was with EY, Ernst Young, for about 7 years, 3 of those years in Amsterdam. So James does, him and Steve Mander, Steve's not here this afternoon, but have developed quite a niche in helping expats, US, people coming from the US, Europe, and in particularly in England with tax planning. Now, James is starting to build a team of his own as well. Here's Richard holding Chloe. Chloe's now 8 months old. Chloe's mum, Kate's in the background there, just keeping an eye on things. So we're thinking well into the future. This is one of our recruits, and we're thinking with maybe a 25, 30-year time frame. Now, Chloe's parents are both accountants, so we're not quite sure what's going to happen to Chloe, because often you say, oh, well, she'll be an accountant as well. But we're great believers in reversion to the mean. You always revert back to the average. So to balance the population up, I'm not sure what Chloe's going to be. Maybe something quite different than an accountant. But we got our eye on her, and she's been well trained. Some other services that we've been developing over the last few years, as mentioned before, we've got the US citizens, migrants, sort of women on their own. Quite a proportion of our clients have a woman on their own, sometimes from, surviving their husbands, all right, and that's a transition that has its own challenges, and I suppose life is always full of transitions. Another transition which we find is probably the toughest in many ways is separation and divorce. Pip has a particular area, particular interest and capability in that area as well. We also assist a number of financial institutions and charities with prudent management and governance of their reserves, and of course our pre and post retirement transition. And another thing that we've done, we've recently given our website a little bit of a brush up. Has anyone sort of seen that over the last couple of months? Yeah, and there's some videos and social media that we're all told. My daughter tells me, who's involved in that period, "Oh, Dad, you've got to do this sort of stuff." So we listen to our daughters. And so a little bit more of that later. And then something that I think is going to come up, there's probably over a third of our clients do have family trusts. Now, in January 2021, there's new legislation will come into effect. Now, this new legislation is a result of over 10 years of work with rewriting the 1956 Amendment Act. So the trust law was due for a brush up, and I think we can see quite a few conversations are going to need to be had over the next 12 to 18 months. The law is going to expect trustees to be much more diligent and prudent in their processes, and probably have the same level of responsibility expected that of directors of companies, all right? There will be a requirement that trustees will have to inform beneficiaries that they are in fact a beneficiary of the trust, and then quite well expect to provide them with information which could include a copy of the trust deed, set of financial accounts, etc. So it's going to create some discussions, all right? More of this a bit later. There's already a number of law firms starting to think very hard about this, and case law will evolve. So some other things, some learnings from us from overseas. We're very pleased, we're very fortunate that over the years we have developed some very good relationships with the financial advisory profession. And Steve Mander and Richard Austin recently had a tour of the US. And because of these relationships, they were able to visit a number of very good firms. And these firms are very open and very generous to us Kiwis, because of course they see we're never going to compete with them, but the sharing of information is very valuable to us. Jacob Walt and Richard Austin also have visited firms in the UK, and they were able to see in sort of working a new generation of the FNZ/Consilium platform. So that is something that's be a project for 2020. All right, and then also Jacob and I have been involved this year with 2 meetings with our study group that's been going since 2003, where we meet 6 monthly, and that the Global Association of Independent Advisors, and that's not just Australasian now, but also includes firms from Europe, UK, Chile, and the United States. So, a couple of things that you might be interested in what's been going on in the office. October commuting challenge. So Georgie Lang said, she used to be Studham, she said we need to start just thinking a little bit more on our carbon imprint. So there was a thing, hey, let's see if we can commute more rather than everyone driving in a single car. She encouraged yours truly to start biking to work, which is fantastic because I just come through here and then home through here each day, across the park. All right, and we had a bit of a, up on the whiteboard there, we said who was commuting, who was cycling, who was going on bus, etc. We've also then Georgie said, right, we've got to get reusable coffee cups and all organic waste. Of course, there's not much lunch left over at work ever, but everything then goes back into someone's green bin at home or into their compost. Bit of fun. Ronald McDonald's the team we've done 4 times this year, where we've been down at Ronald McDonald House and helped prepare meals for families and the children that are in hospital. So there's Todd and Liv with a pasta bake. All right, Carolyn helping with the clean-up as well, so it's good. Has anyone else done that, something like that at Ronald McDonald? Yeah, you find it very rewarding, don't you? Yeah. Then we've had some team events. To warm us all up in the winter, we said rather than using the lift, and let's use the stairs. All right, and we've done this previously, and people said, "Oh, we use the stairs twice a day." Well, some bright sparks in the firm, in the team, were getting to work early and do 10 challenges before everyone else got to the office. So all of a sudden, there are a lot more stair challenges, and there was a bit of banter going around the office because we all had teams. But as a result of that, we would raise $1,500 for charity, which was good as well. And then, of course, each year we have there's an event that happens every year, the corporate fun run. So if anyone wants to join the team next year, Grant, we got our eye on you to put on but it's a 5K fun run. You can walk or run it. If you are interested, let us know, and we'll get you a T-shirt. This year's one, James Howard, he did his 5Ks in about 18 minutes and a bit. So that is by a long way the best, the sharpest team. It's going to be interesting. Bit of pressure on Caden maybe to sort of chase him up on that one. All right. So now we got, some of you would have seen Scott's video clips at the end of each quarter, just giving a bit of an economic update. And it's amazing how many hits he's now getting. So, he's... might be the poster child of the company very soon. No. Anyway, so I'm going to just pass you over to Scott to give you the economic update. Thanks very much, Scott.